Hello, and here we are again, working with trinomials, section 9.4 continued. What we're going to be doing with these is factoring them and then solving them. So we're solving trinomials, basically. I've got an example already set up. 12x squared plus 3x equals 2 minus 2x. All right, so if we remember with this, we want to get everything on the left side. We've got to get this thing equal to 0. Okay, so first step, set it equal to 0. It needs to be set equal to 0. And we will do that working with these two numbers. It's a positive 2, so we need to subtract 2. This is a negative 2x. So we need to add 2x. Whatever I do on this right side equation, I got to do here on the left side. So if I'm subtracting 2, I need to subtract 2 over here. If I'm adding 2x, I need to add 2x over on this side. So I'm going to include those. Plus 2x and then minus 2. And rewrite this equation so it's neater. All right, 12x squared. 2x and 3x is going to be 5x. And it looks like we're just going to have minus 2 equals 0. Okay, look at these. See if there's anything that you can factor out of any of these terms. The negative 2, the 5, or the 12. And there isn't, so there's nothing we can factor out in that. So then that's our first step. Look to factor anything out. First step. Second step. Look to factor anything else. And in this case, we can't. So, since we have something in front of this x squared, this goes back to what we had just done with the earlier section. And these are really cool, though, on factoring those. Do 12 times negative 2, the first times the last. So, third step in here is multiply the first and the last. So that's 12 times negative 2. 12 times negative 2. So that's negative 24. And we are looking for two factors of negative 24. Two factors of negative 24 that add up to 5. So we need two factors of negative 24 that add up to 5. And remember, 5 is the middle number. 5 is this middle number that we have here. So then think of two factors for negative 24. I'm first thinking 6 and 4, 3 and 8, any of those combinations of them. One of them needs to be negative because our solution to this is negative. All right, our answer to that is negative. The product is negative. And then it'll add up to 5. So when I was thinking of these, 3 and 8, and that's what we want to have. 8 and negative 3. 8 times negative 3. Negative 24. Add these together. 8 plus negative 3. That adds up to 5. So these are the two factors that we want to use when we rewrite this. And that's our fifth step. Fifth step, rewrite. And then we're going to factor by grouping. So rewrite this to 8 to negative 3. This 5x gets split up. So 12x squared plus 8x minus 3x minus 2. All right, and that equals 0. So we have 4 terms, factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. Factor by grouping. What can I pull out of both 12x squared and 8x? Well, I can pull out a 4x. Alright, I pull out a 4x. And then I have a 3x remaining. 12x squared divided by 4x, that's 3x. And then 8x divided by 4x, that's just going to be plus 2. On this side of parentheses, I need to end up with 3x plus 2 also. And you can see I'm almost there, except I got negative 3x minus 2. So we'll factor out a negative 1. Negative 3x divided by negative 1 is a positive 3x. Negative 2 divided by negative 1, that's a positive 2. All right, here's what we have to work with. 4x minus 1 equals, I got ahead of myself. 4x minus 1 and 3x plus 2 equals 0. All right, now we just solve. Solve for x. 7 steps, solve for x. So because this equals 0, either this first part, 4x minus 1, is equal to 0, or 3x plus 2 equals to 0, and resolve for both of them, and that takes care of all possibilities of x. So 4x minus 1 equals 0, and 3x plus 2 equals 0. Solve for x. Add 1, so you have 4x equals 1. Divide by 4, x equals 1/4. Most of these are going to be fractions. And then on this side, subtract 2. Minus 2 minus 2. So you got 3x equals negative 2. Divide by 3, x equals negative 2/3. That's your solution. A lot of steps that we had. It may look like it's a lot of work, but I mean going from, here to here, you just work through the steps and it's no problem to solve. You just have the steps that you work through. Remember, set it equal to 0. Multiply the first with the last. You can regroup these. Solve by grouping, and you've got your solution. Thank you very much. I will do another example. I see it already took 8 minutes just to go through this. I'm going to do another example, and I'll do one of the ones out of the homework. And if you think you got this, you don't need to watch anymore, but I'm going to do another example just to be helpful. All right. Yeah, it looks like only, there's quite a few that actually are set up equal to 0. I'll do number 11 here. Number 11 on your assignment. Seven a squared equals negative 65a minus 18. Minus 18. All right. 7a squared equals negative 65a minus 18. It's not set equal to 0, so that's going to be our first step. Set it equal to 0. Can't do anything else until it's set equal to 0. So 7a squared, leave that over there on the left side. It's already positive. We just need to add 65a and add 18. And again, I mean, you can just you know it's going to be positive 65, and you know it's going to be a positive 18. They pretty much just switch signs, whatever they are, they will just switch. So 7a squared plus 65a plus 18 equals 0. So it's critical that you get the thing equal to 0. Let's look for anything we can factor out. And unfortunately, there's nothing we can factor out, so we're going to be working with some big numbers here. So first times the last. First number times the last number. 7 times 18. Yeah. 7 times 18. 7 and 18. 7 times 18. We got 70 and 56. I'm going to use a calculator and make sure our work is correct. 126. So two factors of 126 that add up to 65 is what we are looking for. Two factors of 126 that add up to 65. So 3. Two factors of 126 that add up to the middle number 65. Because we got to split up 65. We got to split this thing up so we can factor by grouping. All right, so two factors of 126. Just take that and divide it by 2. 63. 2 and 63. That's easier than I thought. 2 times 63. That's 126. So 2 and 63. Those are your two factors to work with. 2 times 63 equals 126. 2 plus 63, that equals 65. It doesn't really matter which side you put these on. I'm going to put up the 63 here with a 7 now. So 7a squared plus 63a plus 2a plus 18 equals 0. So these two middle numbers, when they're combined, either if they're added or subtracted, it's got to equal the middle. So 63 and 2, that does equal 65. Factor by grouping. All right. 2 and 63, rewrite. And then 5, factor by grouping. What can I pull out of both 7a and 63? Well, I can pull out a 7. 7a. Pull out 7a and I'm left with a plus 63 divided by 7 is 9. And I need to end up with a plus 9 and put these over here, and it's going to work out. I can factor out a 2. So a plus 9. All right, we're looking good so far. Our solution then, we have 7a, that's a positive 2, so plus 2. And a plus 9 equals 0. So we have two things multiplied together. Solution is, answer is 0, so one of these is 0. So we solve for both as if to take care of all possibilities for a. So 7a plus 2 equals 0. Or a plus 9 equals 0. Well, if a plus 9 equals 0, this is an easy one to solve. A equals negative 9. That one is easy. Negative 9 plus 9 is 0. On this side, it's just almost as easy, but solve for a. minus 2, so 7a equals negative 2. Divide by 7, a equals negative 2/7. There you have it. Cool stuff. We're right in the heart, right in the meat of algebra. A equals negative 2/7 or a equals negative 9. All right, so a lot of things going on, but follow these steps. Follow these steps here. Solve for the variable. You will have no problem following these steps, I guarantee it. But again, call or email, text with questions. We can set up a Zoom meeting. Thanks.